Hello. Hopefully everybody's doing okay. I'm just testing my setup. I've had my camera unplugged for a while as I had to transfer videos to my iPod or my iPad. Um, Welcome to my new podcast, Keeping It Real. As the title says on this channel, I keep it real here all the time. I talk about anything and everything. Lately, I've been offline for like the last month or so, trying to get my toe healed up because I went to my kidney doctor sometime earlier this month. And it was just a consult, but I got to go back in October and get my kidneys scanned at the doctor's office. If I do it at the hospital, it's well over $230, and I can't afford that. Not right now. Um, So I got to go back to my doctor's office, pay the copay of $35, and get my kidneys checked. Because, as I told you earlier, they found some blood in my urine cultures. Hopefully, it's nothing serious. Hopefully, it's just an after effect of the medications that I'm on. But I'll let you know sometime this October. So, yeah. It gives me a little bit of breathing room to handle bills here and get the rest of me healed so I could at least enjoy the fall and winter. But I have come online today to talk to you about a couple of things. One, my health issues. Um, After I went to the kidney doctor on the 11th, I went to Easton Town Center to get out of the house for an afternoon and have lunch and try to clear my mind because the last couple of months have been pretty stressful. I finally got my chair fixed this year. Now I have to go to a kidney specialist to keep my kidneys maintained and make sure that I'm doing okay. Um, a neighbor of mine lost her daughter within the last month. So, yeah. It's been a really interesting year so far. I mean, here I am sitting at home. It's 91 degrees outside, and the air has been running constantly, keeping the house cool. So, and they say by tomorrow it's going to be 96 degrees. Um, but the next thing I want to talk about is some of the recent subscribers to this channel. I want to thank you for that. I know I don't talk much on here anymore, but I'm going to try and make a big change. As you probably know, I have been following a lot of channels like Emma Kenny, Building Integrity, and another guy that did the investigation on the Champlain Tower South collapse within the last couple of years. And he's been right on top of it. I'm hoping we'll hear more about that sometime in the future. But we lost a couple of big names this year, one of which is the legendary Tony Bennett. He did a lot of great songs over the course of his career. Let me take a look here and see what I can find out about Tony Bennett, the biggest troubadour since Frank Sinatra. Okay, let's see. Okay, let me see what we could read up about him. Yeah. I do know that Tony Bennett has had Alzheimer's for like the last several years. Um, he was born in 1926. He was born in 1926 in New York City and died July 1st of this year in New York City. So, yeah, he had Alzheimer's. And one of the last specials he did was one with Lady Gaga. It was actually a Lady Gaga concert with Tony Bennett coming on at the end and singing a song or two with him. So he had Alzheimer's. And it says here, let's see, crooner columnist says goodbye to Cape Cod's favorite songbird, Tony Bennett. Remembering Tony Bennett, Fresh Air. And if you want to listen to him, if you have iTunes, you go there. And I think Spotify may have his music, so I don't know. But Tony Bennett looked like the kind of guy that you could really be friends with. Let's see what songs he did here. Let's see here. Okay. Tony Bennett songs here. Let's see. What songs did he do? One of the songs that I do know he did was I Left My Heart in San Francisco. That is like the signature song for San Francisco. Let's see here. 13 best Tony Bennett songs. Let's see. Showing here on Yahoo Life. Tony Bennett died Friday, July 21st at the age of 96, but his impact on music will live forever. In his memoir titled Just Getting Started, Bennett, a longtime proponent of the Great American Songbook, created his memoir for his commitments to quality, hard work, and building a legacy. And before I continue on with the article, built a legacy he did. For those of you that don't know, A&E, the Arts and Entertainment Network, used to have a show called Live by Request. And I think it was co-created by Tony Bennett. Let's see. He says in his book, my mother, the seamstress, taught me a life lesson about art that I have learned applies to life and love, too. Hold out for quality, he wrote. You might have to work a little harder. It will take a little longer, but you will produce something that lasts. So they're going to honor his memory with the list of the best Tony Bennett songs. The first one, I Left My Heart in San Francisco, considered by many to be his signature tune. I Left My Heart in San Francisco is a quintessential Tony Bennett, and if you can believe it, was originally released as a B-side. And there's a song called Blue Velvet. And it was later popularized by Bobby Vinton. Tony Bennett was actually the first singer to croon Blue Velvet in 1951. His later duet version with k.d. lang is also a classic in and of itself. Another one is Rags to Riches. Tony Bennett basically sings the Horatio Alger stories with a signature smooth sound and Rags to Riches. If the American Dream had a musical score, it would be this. And there's videos linked in the article. It's in Yahoo Life. Let's see what else it says here. Because of You, because of Tony Bennett, Because of You became one of the best loved love songs of all time. In the Middle of an Island, peaking at number 9 in 1957. In the Middle of an Island is one of Tony Bennett's most famous songs, complete with calypso, and yes, island influences, likely at least partly the result of Harry Belafonte's popularity at the time. Like Belafonte, Bennett would come under fire for public comments about the United States government, particularly its foreign policy. Another one that I barely remembered, Stepping Out with My Baby, written by Irving Berlin for Easter Parade. Tony's rendition of Stepping Out with My Baby gave the song a life of its own far beyond the screen. And another one a lot of kids might remember is Put on a Happy Face. Tony Bennett earned the nickname Mr. Broadway thanks to this cover of the classic Bye Bye Birdie tune. Another one is Sing You Sinners. Moaning and groaning won't drive those blues away, but listening to Tony Bennett's 1950 cover of this classic might, his audible youth and exuberance are infectious here. The Lady is a Tramp, one of Tony Bennett and Lady Gaga's earliest collaborations. The cover of The Lady is a Tramp is light and bouncy and light and breezy, the type of lady who inspired it. Plus, who could resist the Derek Jeter name drop? Bennett previously told Parade of Mother Monster. She's so good. She's got the biggest fan club I think anybody's ever had. There are so many people that love her. She's one of the best singers I've ever heard. She also plays great piano and dances very well. She's an all-around great performer. At that time, he was 85, and I've met so many people in show business over the years, and I'm impressed with her. She's always going to surprise everybody with her artistry. Another one is I Wanna Be Around, number 10. Tony Bennett's cover, I Wanna Be Around, a song inspired by Frank Sinatra. He divorced his first wife, Nancy Barbarino, to be with Ava Gardner, who then broke his heart. It was the first version to hit the Billboard charts. And number 11 is The Boulevard of Broken Dreams. Long before the members of Green Day were twinkles in their dad's eyes, Tony Bennett delivered The Boulevard of Broken Dreams, a cover of a 1933 tango song. Bennett's version is considered to be one of the very best renditions. Listen to the man sing the word Gigolette and remains one of his most popular songs since its release back in 1950. So, number 12, The Best Is Yet to Come. Popularized by Sinatra, The Best Is Yet to Come was written for and first released by Tony Bennett. Number 13, When Joanna Loved Me. Tony Bennett once said he loved When Joanna Loved Me so much that he named his daughter after the song. Number 14 is Why Does It Have to Be Me? Heartbreak never sounded lovelier than it did on this B-side, released in 1954. Stranger in Paradise is number 15. There are at least 24 covers of Strangers in Paradise, originally written for the 1953 musical Kismet. But Tony Bennett's is the most popular and endearing. Yeah. So he's had other talents too. They even go on to remember him as somewhat of a painter. So, yeah. Again, let me read the 15 best Tony Bennett song titles so you can find them. Number 1, I Left My Heart in San Francisco. Number 2, Blue Velvet. 3, Rags to Riches. 4, Because of You. 5, In the Middle of an Island. Number 6, Stepping Out with My Baby. And number 7, Put on a Happy Face. Number 8, Sing You Sinners. Number 9, The Lady's a Tramp. Number 10, I Wanna Be Around. 11, The Boulevard of Broken Dreams. Number 12, The Best Is Yet to Come. Number 13, When Joanna Loved Me. Number 14, Why Does It Have to Be Me? Number 15, Stranger in Paradise. So, yeah. Here's the article about Tony Bennett, and there's also an article about Sinead O'Connor. We'll get into her in just a second. I want to get this into the link bar. So that way this will make it easier for you people to find these articles. But yeah, now we're going to go on to Sinead O'Connor. You know, the woman who did Nothing Compares to You, but she's most famously known for tearing up a picture of Pope John Paul II on Saturday Night Live. To me, I always thought she was strange, weird, and kind of a bitch. You don't do that to a pope, okay? At least he was open and accepting of all people. It didn't matter where the hell you came from. If you wanted to go and see the Pope and meet him and be blessed by him, and people have every right to go there. I could give a damn about people's church views. I am a full-blown atheist. I have my reasons. But Sinead O'Connor kicked the bucket. I heard that yesterday as I was resting. And I've been spending a lot of time in bed just trying to take care of myself, get my health together, and get my mind together. But when I heard Sinead O'Connor died, I can't say that I'm sad. You might think I'm a bitch, but I don't deal with train wrecks. Nope. She had one hit, and that was Nothing Compares to You. But there's an article down at the bottom of the one that's on the side of the chat here. And they say that new details are coming out, but I think that's awful soon in actuality to really delve deep into that. She was like 56. But they say on the news last night that it was not suspicious. But they say she died in London. They said that police had responded to a report Wednesday of an unresponsive woman in a London home. When they arrived, the Grammy-winning singer and musician was dead and could not be revived. So, yeah. I would rather remember people like Tony Bennett. You know, let's go back to Tony Bennett. I might not be really familiar with his library, but from what I've seen of him, he always looked like the kind of guy that would treat you like a friend. He actually cared about his craft, and he knew what he was doing when he recorded those songs. I think I like him better than Frank Sinatra. That says a lot. But for those of you that aren't aware, he was also a part of the A&E Live by Request television show. Let's look up that real quick. Okay, let's see. Live by RE. Oh, come on. Okay, live by request. Okay. Here we go. See if I can get this thing to come up. A&E. Oh, come on. A&E. Okay. Let's look here. Okay. I'm pulling up information. Let's see. A&E Live by Request. Okay, let's look at that up here. And it says Live by Request about the show. And it's basically like a mini concert show that was popular back in the day on A&E. Uh, let's see. PBS says Live by Request is about. It's a concert. It's a concert event that redefines the music TV experience and is controlled by the fan interaction. So, Live by Request, let me put it to you this way. You could watch the show on Arts and Entertainment Network and be able to call in to your favorite stars that were on for that particular time. Like, I know they had Kenny Rogers on the show and the Bee Gees on the show. Let's see, it says here, during its 8-year run, Live by Request featured musical guests and live performances representing a wide variety of musical genres, including Tony Bennett, Elton John, John Mellencamp, David Bowie, Gloria Estefan, Neil Diamond, among others. Tony Bennett, who appeared on the Emmy Award-winning premiere episode, is credited for the show's creative concept. So yeah, Tony Bennett had a massive influence. And you've probably seen some of the Live by Request clips on YouTube. One was Kenny Rogers, and I have one with the Bee Gees. So, yeah. But this year has been absolutely one for the shit files because we've had a lot of things going on here. Members of my family have been going through some shit. Like my brother Jerry has got vertigo. My sister or my mother's brother recently died. He had some type of illness. I couldn't even tell you what it is. It was so sudden. So, yeah. That and my neighbor across the street lost her daughter. She was only like 53. And her mother was in the house when her daughter was supposedly asleep on the couch and was snoring. And you know how when people are snoring, you have to kind of shift your body in order to quiet them down? Well, her mother's told her to roll over or turn the other way. Mom walks by, heads into the bathroom, does her business, comes out, only to find that her daughter died on the couch with black foam coming out of her mouth. And they called the coroner. It took a while for them to get here, but I wouldn't know much about it because I don't normally go out very much since the pandemic. And like I said, I have been in my own zone the last several months I've been kind of staying in and kind of taking care of myself and doing things here on my YouTube channels and basically doing cross stitch on Facebook and all that other crap. Since most websites are cutting down on the free speech, what else is there to do? And after the pandemic, 2.5 years of the pandemic, I'm sick of watching stuff on video on demand. So yeah, it's just been one of those years where you're like, let's get through 2023 and begin 2024 now. But if you do that, you're wishing your life away. I mean, I'm 52. Never thought I would see it come so quickly after taking so long, if you get my drift. Because, when you're a kid, You want things to come quickly. You want birthdays to come quick. You want Christmases to come quick. You want July 4th to come or summer vacation as a whole to come. And you just can't wait. But my mom always said the older you get, the faster things come. And she is absolutely right. But today, I thought I'd get on here for a little while and thank everybody for tuning into this channel and watching some of the content that I have found and put in playlists for you. And as I've said, this channel is undergoing a major overhaul. So this is where I keep it real. I don't hold nothing back. I try to tell it like it is. And I don't care if it offends anybody. Just like I found out one of my friends in the music business passed away. The guy, I found out that guy died on my birthday. So I'm like sitting here trying to enjoy the day. And I've been taking more and more time offline, and I decided to log in only to find out that he had passed away from a condition. And I think it was, let me see. Oh, crap. It's something that killed David Cole of CNC Music Factory. So, yeah. But I'm ready to just shove this year into the fucking files and move on. But yeah, let's see what else is going on here. Go in here to Yahoo and see what's going on. I'm not going to even look into Trump's bullshit because I know it's all bull. Yeah, let's see. Let's see. Well, there's really nothing going on in news. So, I'm not going to worry about that shit. But, yeah. I'm sorry I don't have much to talk about at this stage of the game, but I've just been taking care of myself, been wanting to check in and make sure to let you all know that I'm still alive, still kicking, trying to kick ass and kick my kidney and stuff, kidneys into the right zone, if you know what I mean. Because by October, I got to go and see my kidney doctor, get my kidneys scanned. It shouldn't take more than a half an hour. But yeah, that's just been my life in a nutshell. Staying home, paying bills, and taking care of myself and my bruised toe. Um, as some of you know, I went to Easton on the 11th. And this was after my appointment, by the way. I went to my appointment, I guess, consultation. Then I went up to Easton, had lunch, and bought one or two things. And I was walking down the little sidewalk there, and I accidentally ran into a pot, like a flower pot, hurting my foot and not knowing what I actually did to the toe until I got home. When I hit the flower pot, I actually tore off a toenail and bruised another nail and toe. And my brother thought I actually broke the toe, but I really wasn't feeling any pain. Just a little bit of spurts of blood, and that was it. And he says, "You tore off your nail?" And I said, "Yeah, I did. Yeah, I did. I guess I was so excited about being outside that I ran into a flower pot and tore off my nail." So, looks like I won't be going to see the kidney specialist at the end of the month because I want to get this good and healed and take care of me. They're going to have to understand. So, yeah, my year has been rougher than hell. But I heard about Sinead O'Connor's death. I can't say I'm sad. I really don't care. I always thought she was a bitch, especially when you tear a picture of the secular Pope John Paul II, probably one of the most popular popes in recent time. Uh, Not a good thing to do if you want to remain in people's good graces. It's like if you tear up a picture of the Pope, it's like you're putting a middle finger up to religion. Now, me, I'm an atheist, full blown. There's nothing going to change my mind about it. As far as I know, when we die, we go into this thing they call the black void. I've always been very firm on that the last several years. With what's happened to my family, makes you wonder if there is a God. And people are killing each other over the most stupid shit. You got people that don't know how to really handle their problems. They think they have to solve their problems by using a gun or some other type of weapon. Or those that get behind the wheel of a car and cause road rage and end up killing somebody. Um, I've heard of stories about people driving along the highway and some hothead in a car drives by and shoots into a car and kills a kid. That don't sit well with me. And kids bringing guns to school to solve their problems. Let's not forget the transgender whore that went into a church school, and opened fire, killing the headmaster of that school and a student and a few other people. The policemen didn't wait for backup. They got there, they figured out how to get in. They had to figure out where to get to the shooter because some of the doors were locked inside. And when they did confront the shooter, this transgender opened fire, and the police responded by returning fire, neutralizing her. Literally neutralizing her. She looked like a puppet laying on the floor with her body sprawled in directions that you don't want to see. So, yeah. I can't help it the person didn't love themselves enough to not do that. And it's just like these kids, they think they have to go into a school to solve a problem with a gun. And let's not forget the Uvalde incident. That was a big, giant cluster F if I've ever seen one. And because of the cops' lackadaisical approach to getting in to neutralize the suspect, most of a guy's class was shot dead by this person. And I worry about my niece. I worry about her more than I worry about myself because, she's a kid with autism. If she gets pushed down by some dumb kid in her class and she broke her hip or cracked her hip, couldn't tell her mom about it because she can't speak. She don't have the cognitive ability to speak. She knew how to cry, but that doesn't tell her mom what's wrong. So her mom took her to Children's Hospital, one of the offices, and they found a crack in her hip. My sister's like, "Oh, great, I'm going to have to get a wheelchair, and I don't know if I could do that." And I said, "No, you don't. You don't have to worry about renting no wheelchair. I got one of my lightweight wheelchairs. She can use that." And Paula says, well, what if you need it? And I said, no, you take it and use it for as long as you need. If I need it, I'll let you know. So I pumped up, had my brother pump up the tires on the chair. I lent it to my sister. And that young lady was still able to go to school and not have to miss a day of school because of some idiot pushing her down and helping her crack her hip. No. Back when I grew up, people actually cared about other people. You know, Nowadays, people have forgotten how to care. Let's be honest here. People have actually forgotten how to care. You think that things like the COVID-19 pandemic would would bring people together and give them a real sense of brotherhood. But I don't know what's happened in the last several years. But people have turned into real dongheads. They think they have to hurt somebody in order to solve a problem. They think they have to kill somebody to solve a problem. No. Um, it just makes me sad. Does it make you feel good to actually harm somebody? Does it make you feel good to actually kill somebody? To me, it makes you look like a cold blooded asshole. That is how I feel about it. And people who do that crap and they think they could kill somebody and get away with it, sooner or later, every jackass gets found out. I heard about this one rapper that was in court for a possible murder. Don't ask me the guy's name because it was a real weird looking character. But I heard that trial had a mistrial. If anybody has any information on this particular rapper, it was on Law and Crime Network. I'm sure you guys watch a lot of that channel on YouTube. That's all I've been doing for like the last 4 to 5 weeks is just kind of relaxing and watching stuff on YouTube and saving stuff in playlists because I have access to YouTube through my TV. The only thing I can't do is write playlists through my TV. I have to do it here on my computer. But I want to thank everybody for coming in and listening to me ramble for about 38 minutes. But this is where I keep it real. I don't play around. I don't deal with train wrecks. I don't deal with assholes. I don't deal with morons. I don't deal with church folk because I think a lot of them are sick in the head. Pat Robertson is one person that we could go into. I heard that SOB died, finally. The spawn of Satan, in my view. Kenneth Copeland is another one that needs to go. And Joel Osteen also needs to go. Especially when they had a hurricane or a storm down there near his compound and people were looking for a safe place to go and he refused to open his church. Doesn't look good on your record there, dude. You got a big stadium. Put people in there. If you have a safe place where people can go, you help them. That's what men and women of the cloth are supposed to do. Be helpful to your fellow man. Be caring about your fellow man. It's not about what big of a stadium you got. That's why I don't believe in God. Because I think sometimes it is a big money-making operation. If there's anybody I would trust with my life, it would be my cousin, John Richard. Because he is an actual priest. And he said to me, he says, Pammy, I have no right to come into your personal space and start blabbing about God if you don't want me to. He says, you have your life, you live it the way you want to live it. If there's something you do that I don't like, I have no right to tell you otherwise. You have your space, I have mine. So, yeah. He says, no matter what, honey, I still love you. And that's how I knew my cousin was cool. Because, he may be preaching the word of the Lord, but he also likes some good George Harrison once in a while. I got Cloud Nine one year for Christmas. And my cousin, John Richard, came up and said, hey, is that George Harrison? And I'm like, yeah. He says, you want to make me a copy of that tape? And I said, but isn't that a sin? And he says, I won't tell if you won't tell. That's when he said, you have your space, I have mine. I have no right to come into your space if you don't want me to and start blabbing about God. You have your life. I might not like how some people live their lives, but hey, it's their life. Who am I, and that's how I knew he was cool. Otherwise, in general, I have bad trust issues with people, especially those in the church, and people who lie to me, people who cut down persons with disabilities, or whether they're gay, straight, bi, tri, disabled, not disabled. It makes me sad because people need to start getting along if we're going to survive. But it doesn't look good for the human condition. Trust me. It'll never get any better if we keep doing what we're doing. And from what I heard, uh, there have been many, many, many mass shootings, too many to count, since the Route 91 festival concert. I can't believe that happened back in 2016. Where the moron went to Mandalay Bay, brought in a bunch of bags, was able to leave the hotel, go to his house, pick up some bags full of semi-automatic bullshit. And I just come across a documentary on Paramount Plus about Route 91. And they interviewed Jason Aldean and a couple of the other performers that were at the show that night. And it's very eye-opening. I look at that footage of the Route 91 festival as people were running for their lives. They were like sitting ducks. There was no real exits in case of an emergency. And one guy who was African American was told by one guy, I didn't think you guys liked country music. He said it this way. The guy who confronted this young man who was black, loved country music. The guy or person walks up to him and says, I didn't think your kind liked country music. And he was talking about that during his interview. And he said, it kind of blew my good mood all to shit. But, as the night went on, he was like, screw it. I'm going to try to enjoy the show. But then the shooting happened. There was over 5 volleys of gunfire. And they even interviewed the girl who got shot in the face and lived to tell about it. Because at one point, the doctors didn't think they would be able to help her. So, yeah. It's pretty scary. And I think I know what may have happened. Now, this is just what I'm thinking. The shooter. I'm not going to mention his name. If you want to know that crap, you could look it up on Google or Yahoo. But this guy was a high roller. He started out selling properties and working for Lockheed Martin at one point in time. And then he decided to become a high roller. And he would always get his stuff comped. The hotel would get him a room, and he would be basically the hotel would kiss his ass. And I think I heard something that some of his comps were being taken away. You know, the hotel wasn't going to grant certain comps anymore. And I think something happened to him that caused him to spiral out of control, because about a year before the Las Vegas shooting, he went out and bought a crap load of guns, and nobody questioned anything about it. Not even his wife, who I think had some knowledge about what he was doing. You're not going to change my mind on that. Well, I think when they started cutting off his kissing ass, he's like, "Oh, they're going to start doing that, huh? I'm going to do something that'll hurt them." So he was scouting out places to do this. He scouted out one music festival, and he decided he didn't want to do that, so he chose the Route 91 festival. Somehow or another, he was still able to leave that hotel, go home, get some of his weaponry, and smuggle it into the hotel along with baby cams, a thing to jam the door so that people couldn't get up on that floor to confront him. And the guy had a massive arsenal in that hotel room, even after the punk took a gun to his head and killed himself. Couldn't happen to a nicer idiot. He won't be clogging up the prison system. Yeah. And his other brother doesn't look too tightly wrapped either. I'm sure you saw the interview at his house. He says the guy liked to gamble, and he was like really hyper, I'm like, God, his whole family must be fucked in the head. People can't even go to places like a casino, a movie theater, even to school or a shopping complex. I've heard about people getting shot up near Tuttle Mall at one point within the last year or so. So, yeah, people need to start getting their shit together if we're going to survive another 1,000 years, which I don't think that'll happen. After I'm gone, I don't care what you do. But even though I'm a full-blown atheist, I still care about people. I just don't care about so-called men of the cloth, or people that lie to each other, or people that think they have to carry a gun to solve a problem. They think they have to use a gun to solve a problem, or they think they have to use their cars to solve a problem. Yeah. So, there you have it. I'm going to keep it real here. This podcast is where I talk about the most real shit known to man. If I think somebody is being an asshole, I'm going to call them out on it. I follow a guy like Michael Rappaport, who tells it like it is and wants to see Trump go to prison, just like I want to see him go to prison. But, with the way he has a way of slipping out of people's grasps, we all know what he did. We all know what he is. I think we need to tighten our laws. You break the law, you pay the fine, no matter if you were a president or a high-ranking official in the federal government. You do the crime, you do some time. That's all. That's it. That's the basic drill, motherfucker. And that is how I feel about it. You know, I am going to be on here a couple times a month, and we're going to talk about some serious stuff, whether it's holidays, stuff that may have happened in my life over my lifetime. I want people to know about some of the shit that I went through. But we'll save that for another day. I hope you all stay safe, stay hydrated, look in on your neighbors. Here in my state of Ohio, it's going to be 96 here tomorrow. So, yeah. Look after your neighbors. Be sure to bring your pets inside. If you can't bring them in the house, put them in a cool room, either in your garage with fans. Just take care of your family and your pets and your neighbors. Take care of yourselves and each other. All right. I'll be back on here in about 3 or 4 days. Have a good day.